heard you miss a word. But
She's so funny.
I don't know what
I have a
happened
showing
from
at
there.
5 in Sycamore.
All right, we got this.
All
Let's
right,
go.
holy shit,
Go
okay.
fast.
Okay, what are we doing?
Just
Just starting
restart.
over
Yep.
from
Yeah, we'll
you?
just start
Yes.
Or,
from the
okay.
get-go.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
perfect. Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Unlimited podcast. My name's Sarah Steinmetz.
Brian Schuby.
Carrie Steele.
Bill Jones.
And we're the Jones Home Team.
And this is episode 50. Try number 2, right? takes a little getting used to
Had a little
sometimes.
blip there.
But no, we are talking about social media. Well, both the girls are talking about social media. They're piggybacking here today.
you.
Yes. Yeah, I'll get in there too, I guess. Shuby's talking about seller concessions. And again, Tom Ferry was talking about social media. I'll leave that go. But as is, I've had so many deals here lately where buyers, sellers talking about buying a property as is and things like that. And it's just been a lot of misconception with that. So we'll roll right into it. But we got seller I guess what are seller concessions? Are they applicable or are they not?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about seller concessions here just because I think we are seeing a lot more of them in today's market. Big part of as to why I think I wanted to bring that up is I saw a stat that 44% of offers right now are involving some type of seller concession. So I think for a seller to be able to stand out with their offer, or when they're receiving offers and having a buyer be able to choose, hey, I want to work with this seller. I think that's a huge point.
Because a lot of the offers are coming in with that, where for years they weren't, or they tried and it'd get shot down immediately.
Yep. So I guess what is a seller concession? A seller concession is a negotiated arrangement where the seller pays for certain costs or fees, which are typically incurred by the buyer. These can be things such as the appraisal fees, title search fees, loan origination fees, and obviously there's a bunch more fees that could be. Why they're important as far as a buyer side, a lot of times they obviously reduce the amount of money that a buyer needs to bring to closing. Obviously you have your down payment, and then you would also have your closing costs, which could be a huge amount of money up front. Whereas if you could get a seller to pay towards some of those closing costs, maybe they cover all of the closing costs. However, and then I guess that would just leave the down payment that you would need. So a lot of could reduce the amount of money needed up front at closing by a buyer pretty significantly. And then like we talked about as far as why that would be a good thing for a seller, obviously if it would open up, maybe there's FHA buyers, USDA buyers, even conventional buyers. Maybe
the dreaded FHA buyer.
But especially if a seller has money to be able to, like somebody who's lived in their house for 50 years, they've got all that equity and they can afford to accept obviously the best option for them, whatever the best offer is put in front of them. But if they can offer some of those concessions, that might make or break a first-time home buyer or somebody that's getting back into the buying world to be able to.
You're right. Well, if someone's tight on,
it.
if they've just bought their house a year or two ago, they don't have that equity to even work with, too.
Right.
So I was getting, I guess, at kind of the point you made, Carrie. Maybe that opens your house up to more buyers that so couldn't afford. Hey, I can't afford the down payment plus the closing costs. Well, maybe that opens up more buyers to your home to be able to make that happen then. And then as far as I guess limits based on each loan type, I think we've talked about this probably
I'm sure
before.
we have.
But conventional loans typically a max of 3% of the final sales price. USDA, FHA, 6% of the final sales price. VA, 4% of the final sales price then. So there are limitations as to how much a seller can contribute towards your closing costs. However, I would say in most instances, especially with your FHA, USDA, VA loans, where it's between 4% and 6%, you probably don't even need that full amount. Maybe you could go a little bit lower, but again, I think it would cover almost all of those fees for a potential buyer then.
How do you guys usually handle it with buyers? Do you tell them to go to their lender and ask how much they have to have, or how much their lender suggests, or like how do you word that?
Ask the lender.
You go directly to them.
Closing cost assistance.
Yeah, if I'm depending on how big of a hurry I'm in.
That's true.
If we're writing an offer right now and it's easier for me to send a text, then I'll probably
because a lot of the times
do that.
Even if a lender goes over it with a buyer,
they don't.
It gets lost in translation, so they don't know.
And I had one recently where they asked for a certain dollar amount and it was way over. The lender's like, "That's way too much money," but that's what that's what the buyers were telling me.
Right.
That I'm like, that's a big number, but hey, if the bank says, but they could have got their, their lines crossed somewhere. Maybe they were thinking down payment versus what they could ask for in commissions. I don't know. That's why I wondered
And I think
what you guys
obviously,
thought.
like, I guess kind of to your point there, Carrie, if you ask for something significantly over more than you need, you're putting your own offer, in a bad position.
Sure.
Right.
Maybe
and it's
there's
money you can't even use then most of the time. If
Right.
you're way past that line.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a buyer who's only asking for, exactly what they need, and it's $2,000 or $3,000 difference. Well,
Right.
again, that money's not even going to wind up being used for anything, and
Sure.
you made your offer just look
I've had
bad.
that happen where someone asked for too much for what they could use and then wanted to renegotiate the price down then too. So
On
just
top-
for
no.
easy numbers,
It's the
say
other
they had
way.
$4,000, they could use $3,000 towards closing costs, and then they wanted to take $1,000 off the purchase price. I've had them adjust that a few times. It's
Lucky.
a hard conversation with the seller, like, well, you kind of
Usually it's
agreed to
the
that
other way around.
up front to where they get burnt. But I think the hardest thing too is it's like not magic money that
No.
some random person pays, a bank's paying. Somebody's footing the bill for that. So a lot of times the buyer and the seller both kind of misunderstand what's happening with
Yeah.
that.
Do you get that the columns at the very end when you're selling or buying or selling? You're on the end and you get the net sheet not the net sheet, the
Closing disclosure.
yeah, closing disclosures with the buyer and seller credits and debits. And
Yeah.
like, oh, what is this
Yeah,
number?
what
And
is
it's
all
like,
this?
These are
Yeah.
all the numbers that we've been going over for months. Like these are all the things that we talked about.
But then
These
it's
are
in
all
their
the things-
face then finally.
Then it's in their face
so-
and they're like, oh wait, what?
right.
Yeah.
That's
So-
both on both sides, the buy side and the sell side.
But then the buyer then too, well, they'll just have them pay closing costs. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's thousands or $10,000 sometimes, depending upon how big a deal it is. It's
Yeah.
not just some made up number that it's money coming out of the seller's pocket at that point. So,
Yeah.
or the same thing from the seller's standpoint. Well, when I bought my house, I paid my own closing costs. They should pay their own closing costs. Well, do you want this deal to happen
That's
or not?
cool, but it's not 1994 either.
Right.
Right.
So that's where you make it sound like that was forever ago. That was like yesterday.
I
What are you
just did
talking
that
about?
for
Yeah.
them, and 1994 was so yesterday.
That was just not long ago. But yeah, from the seller standpoint, going into concessions like you're talking about, they just need to be able to be more flexible to make that happen. And if the market we're dealing, jokingly, lovingly call a lot of these buyers now like the B and C team buyers, a lot of the A buyers just aren't there. So those B, C, D buyers, they're going to need help. They're going to have to, you got to get creative with concessions and things like that.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, depending on your offer, obviously this is between you and your agent, figuring out how to negotiate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go, over a little bit of the ask price to build in some of those seller concessions and have the nether
Right.
still netting the same amount. But again, at that point, you get into some tricky areas just because
Sure.
the appraisal needs to come in at that higher number. So I would definitely talk to, obviously, your representation to figure out
Right.
what that looks like and how that would work. So
Yeah, if it's some absurd amount, at least they could do is probably structure it to split that.
Yeah.
If it's $100,000 and you're asking for $5,000, okay, maybe go to $102,000 and split that difference. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, a lot to work through with that. But all right, so you good there, Shub?
I think so.
All right. So I guess, the moral of the story is the current market is you're doing concessions more often than not, probably.
Yep.
I've seen a lot more of them. So, all right, ladies, what are we doing? Social media? I got to
Yeah.
pull anything up?
No, there's
All right.
nothing to pull up. Social media. So it seems like it's not going away. It's not a fad. It's
That
here to
sucks.
stay.
I was hoping it was gone.
And every day there's a new platform being introduced that we're expected as agents to be on and to be on consistently and to put good quality content out there. So my question is, do you guys think it's necessary to be on social media? What has been your experience with it? Have you gotten good leads from it? And just overall seeing I guess not necessarily what platform you perform best on, because obviously that gives away all of our tips and tricks and secrets. But have you found one to be better than the other?
I just kind of off the top of your head that you were talking about social media, I just happened to read on Inman the other day. There was an article on there that there's a team or an agent that's getting typically, I think she said, a client a week just from TikTok.
Yeah, that's
Just
crazy.
from TikTok?
Yes.
Wow.
Which was pretty crazy. So that made me think
I've
of that
had
when
two conversations. I just got back into TikTok and
Seems like
It's
I avoid
so-
TikTok like the
I
plague,
know,
but
it's
I mean, it
so
seems like that's where
cringy.
everybody
It's
is, though.
so cringy,
Yeah.
though. If that's even a word that a boomer like me uses, cringy.
Not even cringy. I just can't. I just am
It's
not that
so
far into the
self-promoting.
content creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I mean, you guys all know how I feel about it. Like I love social media from a work standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, I don't use it that much. I get on because I have to. And yeah, being the old man here, I feel like I've embraced it about as well as an old boomer can at this point. And, we used to do like Monday lives and things like that. And I think we're going to get back into doing more of that. But I don't know. I've done a lot of it, but I know I've gotten business from it.
Yeah,
but
I think it's the consistency thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like how long we talked. It's not one thing; it's everything. So doing a video, doing a monthly, a weekly thing on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever your poison is. I don't know that that's going to do it. I think it's that compounding with everything else that you do, and kind of trying to hone it all together and just being top of mind. So I think just getting yourself out there as an agent, which was listening to Tom Ferry today. You're saying you as an agent owe that to your client. So you don't want to do it. You don't want to get on Facebook. You don't want to do a live. You don't want to do a video. You owe it to your client to do that then. So by you getting out there and putting yourself out there, you gain more followers. You gain more, top of mind attraction things, and that will help you better promote your listings, find your buyers more opportunities to buy homes and things like that. So when I think about it from that perspective, like, man, I don't really want to do another video. I don't want to do something else. But if that's my job is marketing and being out there, then you got to put yourself out there and get that following. And
it's not free, but it's definitely reduced price advertising.
Yeah.
Like putting yourself on a park bench in a big city or, a billboard on a popular, like as much time as it takes. And it does take time to that one was like an hour and it was kind of crap, but it still took an hour of my time. But that was an hour of sweat equity that would have otherwise been turned into, a monetary boost or print or something like that. So,
none of this is free. You're still spending time and or money to do a lot of this stuff.
I've done print, and comparatively, I don't know for you guys and sending stuff out, but what do they say? Do one thing 1,000 times versus 1,000 things 1,000 times. 1,000 things one time or something.
Yes, yep.
And I'm kind of starting to feel like I should pull back from some of these other platforms. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm trying to have a presence everywhere, and it's just overwhelming because you want quality stuff on 1 or 2 or 3 platforms instead of, are they called platforms? I don't know.
Yes,
am I saying the right thing? Then to just throw like little tidbits of stuff, because I feel like you still have to keep something at least somewhat updated, like LinkedIn. Like,
sure,
hey, are you relocating? Like, how do you make a post for LinkedIn that's relevant to real estate? And that's kind of
the guy today.
He's
been killing it on TikTok, I guess. Kind of to your point, then he's just been getting a lot of referral leads. Like, you get a lot more followers, I guess, from TikTok. Probably people from all over the place. But he's been honing in on referral. Hey, if you're buying a house anywhere in the world, call me. I'll vet the agent for you. So this guy's just sitting in Oklahoma or wherever the heck he was, and somebody from wherever, Maine, is calling him saying, I'm thinking about relocating to Florida. Great, let me find you an agent. So he's utilizing it from that standpoint to where, is that person in Maine going to buy or sell a house from him? Absolutely not. But at least he's putting himself out there to do that. But to then go on to good. I think done is better than perfect.
Yeah. And I'm stripping back because I was really wanting everything from hair to outfit to lighting to everything just had to be perfect. And a lot of times, no matter how much effort I put in, it still didn't turn out the way I wanted to. So now I'm like, okay, consistency over perfection.
100%.
Just do it. Just do it. Put it out there. It's going to suck. It's going to be bad. It's going to look
we're episode 50.
But like how do you
episode 50 versus episode 1?
Also, like you are saying like, oh, it's bad, or like whatever I made was crap, but like it probably isn't. You probably just think
feels that way because you're critical. And I think
Yeah.
everybody's like that to an extent, where they feel like no matter what they put out, it's not because you know what your expectations are.
Well, because you see the polished, Alex Hormozy, like beautiful, full production video. They have 15 people working on it, and they post production for 3 days. Like you can't compete against that. Even like these Tom Ferry ones we have up there, he's got a whole team of people that put that together. But his stuff is still pretty. A lot of times, him with a camera or just a quick, like, literally with the exact same thing we're doing. But
some of that's what they want. I mean, that seems like that's what people want. They want you to be invited, or you want them to be invited into your life, your daily life, like when you're just going to do something, like you're going out to the house to check on progress, like take them on that journey. Like they want the story, they want the backstory, they want to feel like they know you. So like putting yourself out there, and you watch it back, and especially if there's anybody in your sphere that's close by, you're like, this is so embarrassing. They're going to see it, but it's like, how do you get it to everybody else that's not right there in front of you?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I get crap from all my friends and things like that. And you guys probably
Yeah.
do too. But then today at a closing, that guy I've never met before, like, oh, I watch your guys' podcast.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
at the
fantastic.
bank, yeah.
Scott, you know who you are. So I'll
Hi,
give you a
Scott.
shout out
Thanks
there.
for watching. Yeah, anybody that is watching, make sure you subscribe. Don't just watch us, but subscribe because it's the online presence is important. So go to our Facebook pages, like us, subscribe to us, share our content because that really helps.
Helps the
That's
algorithm.
that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. It helps. I don't know what that means, but it helps the algorithm do all the liking and sharing and stuff like that. All right, cool. Sierra, what are you piggybacking on that?
I just want to talk about like some actual personal stories of times that social
Here we
media
go.
helped out with what helped out like
roasted before she even starts.
just how it kind of tied into business from some way or another. So first one I want to talk about, my very sweet boyfriend likes to share my
Yeah,
posts
he's one of our
whenever-
favorite
watchers,
watchers, right? Or subscribers.
Hi,
Oh, yeah.
boyfriend.
Hi, boyfriend. But he'll share usually my new listing posts and stuff like that, whatever. We went to different high schools from the same area, but different high schools, whatever. And I get a Facebook message the other day from some girl that I don't know. And so then, of course, you do the little deep dive. And I'm trying to figure out how she knows me, whatever, because she just asked simply, hey, we're looking to relocate back to Tiffin. Can you help us find a house? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I would love to. And then like curiosity got the best of me. And I was like, I got to figure out how this girl even knows my name. And they were mutual friends. And I was like, oh, so maybe they know each other, whatever. They went to high school together, blah, blah, blah. So just one of
So
those
it's from
things
him
of,
sharing.
yeah,
she saw that
she just
then.
saw
That's
my
cool.
posts on his
Yeah.
timeline because he's sharing them. Thank you. And that is hopefully going to turn into
Got a
another
referral
client.
fee.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. But I mean, it does. And I think from the consumer, kind of like that, they'll go and investigate. So how many times we go show a house and they know the neighbor, they know everything about the house, everything that ever happened. They do the same thing to us. So if I'm thinking about hiring Carrie, Brian, Sierra, you're going to go look at what does their social media presence look like. And if you never once had anything real estate related, if I'm hiring you as an agent, I'm going to go the guy that does car detailing. I watch his videos. I'm probably going to go him, the guy that's selling cars. You're going to watch that stuff, and that's the person you're going to gravitate towards. And again, I keep bringing up Tom Ferry, but he has said it best, like and trust those people. So by doing the social media, putting yourself out there, them being able to get to know you, then I feel like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. In this day and age, word of mouth obviously is usually one of the biggest ones. But aside from that, everyone's on their phones all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone's scrolling. And when you can make your content feel personable and they can get to know you from that, then they're going to trust you and want to reach out to you because they're the ones that they're seeing you the most then. So
cool.
Yeah.
So we need to do more of this, what you're saying? Yes.
Just keep serving up the humble pie.
Yeah.
Another one I was going to point out was the lender that you were talking about, Mr. Scott. He was actually the first person that I'd been on the phone with about our client, and then he was like, "Hey, by the way," and was talking about how he watches it whenever he sees it. So that was pretty cool.
Celebrities.
Yeah, right.
And people do. I mean, they do see it. Like, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and people do notice that. And no one's ever said, "I hired you because you used to do your stupid Monday video." Like, nobody's ever said that. But that they've referenced it or they talk about it, or just you run it into your buddies. Oh, I saw your dumb face on Facebook. Yeah, you saw me, I guess. I'm doing my job. So, but not that we expect anybody to, wait on every word that we're saying. It's just you're just trying to stay relevant and stay in front of people.
I want to know where our farthest listener is at.
We could probably look it up, I'm sure.
Ooh.
I don't know. We could sure try.
Or if it feels like you're far away, comment where you're at.
Yeah, old friends.
I'd love to know how far away.
Yeah. We'll have to look that up then. So just
I don't have my cheat sheet.
Your old friends talking about that. I think you're kind of
that would
just because you've had that too. I think people that found you,
people that you don't really keep in touch with a ton anymore from high school or whatever childhood, but
people used to bully and shove in the lockers.
Forgotten sphere.
I was the one shoving people. Yeah,
come to me and I will sell you a home.
Yeah.
But people that you probably wouldn't talk to on a normal basis.
They probably wouldn't trust me.
Yeah. I remember her. No. Yeah.
But it's just interesting how social media does that. I mean, you're friends on Facebook because you want to keep in touch in that way, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I would have never known that you did that until I saw your post and whatever. And then all of a sudden one day it's, hey, we're trying to relocate and whatnot. And I know you do that. And there you go.
I've
think
literally
a
had
lot of
people
it-
do that same thing from high school just recently that reminded me that reached out. I didn't realize you did real estate.
Yeah, it's like
I graduated
I've been
a
doing
million
it for
years
20
ago.
plus
Yeah,
years. Like, how do you not know?
So, and you can
My
almost look
face
at
is
it
everywhere.
as another CRM too. So we have like our database, our CRM.
Yeah.
You can almost look like your friends on Facebook as another CRM or database
Yeah,
of
for
people.
sure.
So
I was gonna say a lot of my clients, if depending on who they are and stuff like that, I'll add them on Facebook after we're done. Just
sure.
for closing posts and stuff, and
Yep.
we remain friends, and I run into them all the time. Or they, I think like what you said, it's a good way to, as a CRM, just for them to be able to
Absolutely.
continue to see your face and realize you're still in the real estate field, so that way when they go
Yeah.
to buy or sell again.
or their friends or
They're right
family need a
there.
recommendation,
Yeah.
or you just kind of stay in front of them for sure.
And there's like nothing better than when you are friends with a person that purchased or sold a home with you, and then you see in that new home that they bought with you what little cute decorations they did or updates and stuff. Like, that's always so fun to see.
Or the
Bill
fun ones.
loves watching that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love the, hey, I need a real estate agent. Who do you recommend? And then you say, like, come on, you got a lot of tags of the one time I saw, and I think I got more, but no.
Yeah.
But that's fun where people that will tag you and root for you basically. So, all right, fine, we'll keep doing social media, I guess. So, all right, I know we're short on time. I'm just gonna jump right in. So as is, so I've had a couple deals here recently where the seller, for whatever reason, they think, I'm selling as is. This house is as is. Okay, that's fine. But the first thing is you need to price accordingly then too, where they don't want to talk about that then either. It's like, well, it doesn't mean you can get top dollar and just say as is and you just wash your hands of it and somehow it's magically going to work out for you. So this goes into the current market, like you were talking, Shub, the pricing. People are stuck 6 months, 2 years ago then too, and then people are buying no inspections. They could take it as is. It could be full of grandma's old stuff. They didn't care. They just needed a home. Well, the market has shifted that maybe as is doesn't quite have the legs it did back then. So I've had a few of those, and then inspections kind of playing on that too. So them thinking that selling it as is means no inspections.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have run into that or not then. So a seller just thinking, no, it's as is.
Yeah, I'm not fixing anything and there's no inspections.
Right. Yeah. You can't stop them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say, no, I will not accept your offer, but
Yeah.
Good
what
luck getting
buyer,
an offer.
Yeah. What the agent, I mean, even as a listing agent, well, seller, that's probably not.
If a seller says you're not doing any inspections, I feel like as a buyer you'd be led to
Red
leave.
flags
I'd be
everywhere.
like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not buying this house.
Yeah.
I've had that conversation. No, I'm not accepting any inspections. Like, oh, come on, you can't. You can say I'm not doing anything to the home. That's perfectly fine. I'm not fixing a house. I'm not adjusting the price. I'm not doing anything. That's fine. Let's have that conversation then. But if you're going to be hard line in the sand with that, you got to be willing for that whole deal just to go away. They may come back and just ask for a $5 thing, or maybe they come back and ask for a $50,000 thing, but it's still going to be a conversation. And I guess you just let the deal go gone, I guess, at that point. The other part would be I'm doing inspections for information purposes only. So from the buyer side then too. So
No, that's what I was going to say.
yeah, so we're going to do an inspection, but it's for information purposes only. So that sounds good to the seller.
Yeah.
But there's nothing saying that that's what it's going to be.
Right.
That buyer does their inspection and come to find out and say, oh my gosh, well, the furnace is trash, the heat exchange is bad or whatever. And then you go back to the seller. Oh no, it was as is. Inspection was for information purposes only. It's still a active purchase. It's still a negotiation. So there's just so much to that. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that. If you've had any as is, because I've had to have some hard conversations with sellers, what an as is means, what it doesn't mean from a buyer's perspective, if they're doing an inspection information purposes only, if that's been in your guys' recent deals.
Is like, since COVID, I think there's been a lot more people that are just as is, but they don't truly understand what it means.
Right.
And especially if somebody's buying it as is and they're leaving things behind or not leaving things behind, then that gets, because if somebody says as is and there's an old junky Mustang under, under a barn, whatever, and they're buying it as is, that Mustang is coming with, they're getting that. Oh, no, that's excluded now. That's excluded.
Right.
Well, but it's not because you're as is.
Sure.
So the junk in the living room that's literally in boxes and piled to the ceiling, they have to remove that, but they also get the Mustang. So.
Right.
And I think too, those sellers that are just as is, no inspections. I mean, I've had plenty of buyers that really just want the inspection to know, is this something that we can handle ourselves, or is
Sure.
this going to be too much? Like, especially for first-time buyers.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even if one of them or both of them are in construction or they're handy and stuff, they might be willing to take on like those
Sure.
projects and everything. But if it's going to be the roof
Yeah,
is
$10,000
caving in
furnace,
or-
a $30,000
yeah.
roof. Yeah.
New
That's just
septic,
that's not realistic. And yeah, the buyers can go into it knowing, okay, if this is bad, we can't really ask them to fix anything because
Right.
they're not going to do that, and that's okay. But we need to know if we can actually fix what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So then kind of leading into that, NAR came out with a study or survey, I guess, that said 70% of buyers were willing to buy a home with, I lost the wording here then too, it needed repair. They're willing to put in the work is basically what it said. I don't find that to be true yet.
No, not
I mean,
here.
no, not at all. I feel like most buyers now, they want mostly done.
Yep.
That closing today, that guy, the house was mostly done. He had to remove some wallpaper, and he acted like,
Yeah.
I mean, a good dude, but I mean, he's just like acting like he's remodeling the whole house. He didn't mention all the mechanics were done. Everything was great.
Yeah.
So he was happy with that, but it was just, I don't know. It's
They
not
just want to
10
pull
years
up and
ago.
paint. I know. They just want to
Yeah.
pull up and paint.
It used to be people go in and be like, the bathroom's just disgusting. The kitchen's missing a
Yep.
sink. And they're like, yeah, I'll gut everything. I'll start completely over. But knowing they were going to get a good deal on the property.
Sure.
So kind of going
And
back to the,
materials were not what they are.
Yeah.
yeah, they're
now.
not 3 times as expensive then. So, but then there was another stat. It was then like 56%. Yeah, complete fixer-upper status they would buy. I do not see 56% of buyers buying a complete fixer-upper. Not even close. So I don't know what area they took this survey on, but I don't know. Maybe I got the stats wrong. That could be, but that's what I was reading on that article.
Maybe
but
investors, maybe 56% of investors.
Are
But not
willing
just
to do
like
full
normal
gut.
buy. Yeah, not normal buyers.
no. I feel like they
Nor
still want
could
the
they.
waste time.
I
I
bet.
was gonna say most of the buyers we've been working with are FHA
Yes,
under
you know what?
$100,000, and
That's
it's like, okay,
exactly right.
They may want that, but that's
Right.
They
not
don't-
what they're getting.
Yeah.
They want that, but they don't know that they can't get that.
Yeah.
And it's in every first-time home buyer's mind that they drive by and they see a junky house or a house that's been sitting there
Right.
growing weeds. Oh my God, I could do so much with that. I have a vision and I have the know-how. The bank is not giving you money for the know-how or
Right,
the
right.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you do some specialty loan and qualify for it.
Well, then to that point, then too,
Or have cash.
being able to do the work doesn't necessarily get it done then too,
Right.
because you might be able to fix it for $500, but you need a contractor that's going to cost $2,500,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
that kind
And
of
that
skews the whole
kinda
thing.
sucks, but
It does, yeah. So as is, I haven't told you guys about this. I got a house coming up. We looked at it for an auction. It is just full of stuff. So there might be some treasures. I don't think there's a
okay.
Mustang in there, but there is a lot of we'll just call
and
it
it's
stuff.
as is.
It is going to be as is. So this is one of the conversations what it led into. So it's completely as is. You're getting a house, all the stuff in the garage, all the stuff in the other building, all the stuff in the yard, all the stuff crammed everywhere.
stuff.
Just things. And there's some good stuff there, but there's some not so great stuff.
Awesome.
So you're getting it all. So as is doesn't necessarily mean as is. I guess just make sure you're talking to your agent, whether you're on the buy side or sell side. That you know.
Oh, one last point. I've had buyers under contract for as is, and then the seller ended up doing a repair. or
Yeah,
two
all the
anyways.
time.
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
It was not that big of a deal when it came
No.
down to it.
No, we're working on one right now. Same
Yeah,
thing. They're like,
true.
as is. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
And the guy
and
was
they're
there
like, "Oh,
yesterday or
well."
2 days
Yeah.
ago replacing plumbing and whatever. Because it comes to one of those, okay, you got a deal, whatever, pick a number, $300,000 house under contract. You tell me you're going to let this whole thing blow up over $500 repair. And the
Yeah.
house, it needs it. It has an active leak. It has a whatever. It's something going wrong with it. So whether this buyer stays or not, you can stick to your as is.
Yeah.
But your house is still leaking. You're going to have to fix it.
Yeah.
So it's going to
House
cost
is
you
still
$500 either way. So
And
just
now
get it
you
fixed.
are aware of it because you've seen it on the
Yeah.
property inspection, and now you got to disclose
You got to
it.
disclose it.
Yeah.
And if you refuse to disclose it, I'm going to have to disclose it. And if
Yeah,
not-
that's
Yeah.
definitely going to be
Yeah.
a future topic, I think, next.
Yeah.
I won't be here next week, but the next one,
the next one. All right. That would be a fun one then, too.
We definitely
'cause
need to
what
talk
needs
about,
to
like-
happen with that.
liars on the disclosures. 'Cause
Yes.
I feel like that could be a future lawsuit.
Yes, that's a. All right. Well, on that, we'll keep doing social media, whether we like it or not. So, like, share, do all the things Carrie was talking about. We need help with that algorithm. We'll see you on episode 51. Thanks for stopping by.